We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake.
White Sox left fielder Andrew Benintendi will miss 4 to 6 weeks after breaking his hand on a pitch by Cleveland right-hander Logan Allen. Ouch, that's painful. He will likely be on the IL when they open the season on March 27th versus the Los Angeles Angels. And then Anthony Rendon heard this and said, oh, that's cute, 4 to 6 weeks. He will also miss that game for the Angels and the entire season. Way to go, Anthony Rendon. Make that money. Roll the open, Drew Dog. Let's do it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Live from the South Point Casino on the edge of the world-famous Las Vegas Strip. We're just south of the Strip. It's game time. Thanks for streaming the show on YouTube to watch a show that's a mix of comedy, sports, viral videos, smart betting advice, especially today because we have our special guest. I am your host, Frank Nicotero, longtime comedian, lifelong sports fan. And today's show, well, pull up a seat, man, and sit down because we got a good one for you. Just when you pull up a seat, don't take out a whole row like LeBron James did last night in the Lakers' victory over Minnesota. So, first of all, how is there a whole entire empty row of Delta courtside seats? He took them all out, and those Delta seats ended up upside down, kind of like that flight in Toronto a couple weeks ago. No one was hurt, so there you go. I know, too soon, no one died. It's a good joke. It was a good joke. I was doing it. On the show today, coming up sooner than later, I see him adjusting his Yankee ball cap in the corner of the screen. My man Joe D'Amico is here. We haven't seen him in 2 weeks. Because I think he was sick the 1 week or something, and then he wasn't on yesterday. We haven't seen him in a while. He's usually on Thursdays, but he's coming in today on a Friday to give you some picks for the weekend, which we're all looking forward to. And then also stopping by towards the end of the show, the director of the sportsbook here at South Point, Chris Andrews, will stop by and sit in that chair right there, and I believe he's going to join Joe and I. I don't know if Joe, Chris, and I have done a segment together. Have we, Joe? I don't think so. I don't know. Yes or no? He's shaking his head no. All right, good. This will be fun. All right, let's take a look at today's punch menu, ladies and gentlemen. I am sitting solo at the desk right now. It's kind of interesting, ladies and gentlemen. We got a couple good clips in the comedy clip of the day. Oh, Joe, I see Dice is in the house, his dog. All right, good. We'll get to Joe in about 10, 15 minutes. In our comedy clip of the day, we got some funny stuff, and Joe's going to give you guys a bunch of picks. And I will close the show with our dog of the day. We might have a Kenny White's dog of the day. Do we have it? We got it. We got Kenny White's dog of the day. A friend of mine texted me this morning and said they can't wait to see the BattleBots bit we did. But the guy who was supposed to send us the footage kind of forgot about it. Got in touch with him last night. He's going to send over the footage over at BattleBots, and Drew Dog will cut it together for next week. I don't know when, but you'll see it. It's really good. Bill Dwyer, thanks for everybody over there. If you haven't seen the BattleBots live show here in Vegas, if you're planning a trip and you have kids or you're just a fan of robots beating the hell out of each other, go see this show. It's behind the Horseshoe, which is the old Bally's right on the strip there. And it's a ton of fun. We had a really good time. And I actually got to operate the pulverizer, which is the big metal hammer. And I got to hit the guy. It was great. So we'll have fun with that next week. All right. Top of show breaking video, ladies and gentlemen. We got some videos from last night. Dun, 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 dun. Now, just yesterday, I showed a video of this guy who emulates other NBA players, their shooting styles, right? He did like 4 different versions of Steph Curry. He kept taking jerseys off. He was doing the shimmy. He was biting the mouth guard. Now, I don't know if that had anything to do with Steph Curry's performance last night, but he went off and hit 12 threes and put up 56 points. Here's Steph Curry in action. He just was dominant last night. So we got a clip of that, right? It's coming. There we go. So here's Steph, just unconscious. I mean, he was like 12 of 16 from 3. His record, I think, is 13. You can see that graphic there. It's saying players with 12 3-point games, 12 3-point field goals in a single game. He's done it 3 times. So unbelievable. Steph Curry was on fire. And I know you're saying, well, Frank, he hit 12. How do we know he hit 12? Well, here we go. I'll show you all 12. So here's a montage of Steph Curry going off. You got to see the half-quarter one, too. I like these jerseys they were wearing, too. Sharp Warrior jerseys. So here's Steph. This is like vintage Steph. He is like rejuvenated since the Jimmy Butler trade. I believe they're 7-1 since Jimmy Butler has come over in that trade from the Heat. There's a half-quarter, which is like a free throw for Steph Curry. Number 4 might be my favorite. I think that was this one right here. Is he not getting the shooter's roll? I mean, is that Steph Curry or what? Bounces 3 times, then just pulling up. Just insane. The bench is feeling it. The opposing stadium is into it. You're seeing a first ballot Hall of Famer just raining threes. I mean, this looks like this is the way he was even moving quicker than usual, because once I got an alert that he was on fire, I put on the game. And he had the juice going. And I'll tell you, with Jimmy Butler there, and as I said, they're like 7-1. So I don't know if they can make a run in the West. A lot of big teams in the West this year. Oklahoma City, now you got the Lakers and Luka. It's going to be an interesting year. Okay, let's see here. Let's move on. Oh, I'm sorry. So his jersey, which I feel could have went right to the Hall of Fame, him doing this for a 3rd time, hitting 12 3-pointers, but instead he gave it to his number 1 fan. So here he is. A bunch of kids wanted it, and then he tossed it to his mom. So mama got it. By the way, she looks like she's about 25 years old. So Steph's mom got the jersey. I think she should send it right to Massachusetts, to the Basketball Hall of Fame. But I think mom's going to hold on to it. All right, we're going to shift to some baseball right now because baseball season is upon us. I'm following all the spring training games. Very excited about the Pirates, even though they don't have any bats. They're gonna pitch well. They just don't have any sticks. Shohei Ohtani. So, you know, we show a lot of Shohei stuff on this show, and this one is just the sounds of Shohei. So I thought I'd sing a little verse of Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Hello, spring training, my old friend. It's great to see you again. The sounds of Shohei. So it's just the crack of the bat, man. There is nothing pure. Also, I was reading something. The amount of media that has to be there. And then Steph Curry hit 3-pointers while Shohei was playing baseball. It was insane how it happened. The amount of media that's at every spring training game for Shohei is as many as are like at World Series games. So this guy, the minute he steps onto the field, even in spring training, when it's usually only a few hundred people, maybe 1,000, there's that many just in media following his every move. So he's worth every penny, man. He won a World Series. He's going to pitch this year, probably in May. Gotta love this guy. All right. Who will he face? Will he face this kid? Possibly. Sticking with baseball, there's a guy in the Twins organization, and he throws a knuckleball. Okay, now a knuckleball's rare, right? We haven't seen like a full-time knuckleballer since maybe R.A. Dickey with the Mets and the Blue Jays, the late, great Tim Wakefield with the Pirates and the Red Sox. There's a guy who throws his knuckleball 80 miles an hour. This is just sick. I don't know how. So it has no movement, no rotation. The catcher, as you can see, dropped the 3rd strike. I have never seen a knuckleball come in at 80 miles an hour. This kid's a freak. What's his name? Corey something? Corey Knuckles. That's what they're calling him, Corey Knuckles. So he's pitching in the spring. Who knows if he makes the Major League roster? But I'm sorry, if I'm the Twins, this kid's playing every day. You can pitch knuckleballers many times a week. Oh, wait. Joe, he might have a little knuckleball something going on. Is that what you're saying, Joe? Can you throw a knuckler? All right, we're going to bring Joe in any second now. First of all, Corey Knuckles. I'm going to follow that kid's career. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Comedy clip of the day. We got a couple for you. LeBron and Luka. I watched this game last night. They're starting to feel it. It's going to be good. This stretch run is going to be good. Lakers could make some noise, but they went full Hollywood as they kind of stole some moves from Jackie Moon. And this is great. So here's our comedy clip of the day. Will Ferrell and the Tropic Thunder, or the Flint Tropics. Is that what they were? Yeah, here we go. So look at this. That's one of those Will Ferrell movies you kind of forget about. Semi-pro. The Flint Tropics. Good movie, but yeah, there you go. That's Hollywood. That's what the Lakers want to do. We also have one more comedy clip. All right, there's the Utah Jazz have a mascot named Jazz Bear. Is that a great nickname? Not really. I guess you really, I mean, it doesn't really fit the Jazz. It fits Utah, I guess. What are you going to have? Tenor sax or something for the Jazz? But anyway, he did something with this bald guy who apparently is some sort of sneakerhead guy. He's got some company. But anyway, he's a bald guy. Okay, so he sticks that dart and you're like, all right, bravo to Jazz Bear. But he's got a second one he wants to try. He tells the guy to leave it on. This girl's going to stand up. The bear says, sit down. And he throws another dart, which knocks the other one off and lands on the guy's head. There's no way he just did that. That's 1,000,000 to 1 right there, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's take a look at my line of the night. We got a couple things before we bring Joe in and we start talking bets. And we start talking some movies, some sports movies, which we're going to talk about in roll call in a second. All right, so looking at baseball, I went right to our buddy Jay Kuda yesterday. Jay Kuda had a very interesting post yesterday. This is the major league teams that have played in a league division series in the 2020s decade. So the NL West, every team but the Rockies, no surprise. NL Central, only the Brewers. None of these teams have gotten to an LDS. The NL East, pretty much every team but the Nationals won a World Series 7 or 8 years ago, so they're fine with that. Then, of course, there's the AL West. Angels, nope. Every other team, yep. Poor Angels, hopefully Mike Trout. Then you look at the AL Central. Every team? That is insane. And then the AL East, only the Blue Jays, which is fine by me because I like the other 4 teams if you're going to root for any team. But anyway, Jay Kuda doing his homework once again. So will any team turn it around, any of those grayed out teams? I don't expect it from any of those teams. Can I be a homer and root for the Pirates to possibly make an LDS? They have the arms. Bubba Chandler, 7th overall prospect in baseball, number 1 prospect for the Pirates, pitched yesterday, had a nice clean inning, joining Jared Jones, Mitch Keller, and of course, Paul Skeens. We got arms. We ain't got no bats. All right, let's move on to today's episode number. It is episode 346. It is the last day of February, ladies and gentlemen, which means March Madness is upon us. Spring is here, 75 degrees in Vegas. All right, so there are a lot of national days today. I will read them slowly as instructed by Courtney. Here we go. Which one is fake? Behind the glass, we will see what they say. National Tooth Fairy Day. Car Keys and Small Change Day. National Public Sleeping Day, a.k.a. homeless. National Customized Wheel and Tire Day. National Vegan Lipstick Day. National Essay Day. National Start Your Taxes Day. U.S. Snowshoe Day. Skip the Straw Day, which I've been doing for 35 years. National Chocolate Souffle Day. National Science Day. All right, Vince, what do you got back there? Sean is saying public sleeping sounds fake. Jerry says start your taxes is fake. Vince says skip the straw. And Drew Dog is going U.S. Snowshoe Day. One of you is correct. Who just cheered? The only person that's not in the room anymore is right. Start your taxes is bull. That's not a thing. It sounded good though, didn't it? Because it's like, you're like, it's March 1st. Good to put in people's memories. It probably helped some of you watching. It helped some people that work here. Like, oh my God, we got to do our taxes. Got to get them in. You got what, 45 days? Something like that. All right. So we got some special birthdays too, all sports related. Aroldis Chapman, who can still throw over 100 miles an hour. Aroldis Chapman turns 37. He might be older. Who knows? But he's still bringing heat. Lefty heat at 100. He signed with Boston after playing with the Pirates last year for $10 million. Racing legend Mario Andretti. We got an Italian. Vinny! Mario Andretti. I didn't even know Mario Andretti was still around, actually, to be honest. He's 85 years old. Something tells me Joe might have a Mario Andretti story or a piece of memorabilia from he's shaking his head. Of course he does. All right. And he turns 85. And, of course, there's someone who plays for the Lakers. Luka Doncic turns 26 years old. Okay. Can't wait to see this. Caden put them all in the AI machine. Here we go. Almost. Here we go. AI machine. We got Luka, Mario, and Araldus, plus all those days. There we go. Oh, there's a very slender Luka. Luka looks like he's dropped a few pounds, but he will gain it all back as he eats that giant cake. What the hell is that? Oh, chocolate souffle. All right, he's got his Lakers lab coat. That is hysterical. He's got safety glasses on. I love that. And after he eats that whole souffle, the tooth fairy will come visit him. So this is perfect. There's a... Oh my God, wait a second. Araldus Chapman riding shotgun in his new Red Sox uniform with 85-year-old Mario Andretti driving him around with the left turn signal on nonstop. And then he's got vegan lipstick he's applying. This might be, and then there's even, this might be one of the best of a long time. And then what is he writing down? Is he starting his taxes? Perhaps. Even though that was a fake one. That one is outstanding. And National Science Day, I also missed with Luka. So Luka's kind of doing a science experiment on the chocolate souffle, hence the safety goggles. They're going to Big Pony Club. Song is not out of my head still. I love it. That is a very good one. Caden, thank you up in Utah for putting that together. Ladies and gentlemen, let's check roll call, and then I'm going to bring Joe D'Amico in. Here we go. All right. So let me take a sip of tea here since I'm the only one talking, which will change drastically when Joe comes on. My question of the day that I floated to you guys, I'm a movie buff. We talk about movies. We make movie references a lot. The Academy Awards are this Sunday, hosted by Conan O'Brien. Okay, fine. He'll do a good job, but whatever. So I asked you guys, what sports movie, what would get the best sports movie ever Oscar in your opinion? May I have the envelope, please? I started with The Natural. The Natural, not only a great sports movie, but the script is brilliant. Barry Levinson's direction. The cast is exceptional. You got Robert Duvall, Kim Basinger, Robert Redford, Wilford Brimley. By the way, Wilford Brimley in that movie is he's like 52 years old. He looks like he's 70. Robert Prosky, Darren McGavin, Unbilled. Great movie. I also put on there Field of Dreams and Rocky. The first Rocky won Best Picture for 1976. Keith Lyle. There are so many good ones. Along with yours, he'll throw in Rudy. If you know, you know. I almost put Rudy in there, but I only wanted to put 3. Who had not seen Rudy here? Is it everyone back there? Or Vince, you kind of saw it once? Andrew, Drew Dog, you've never seen it. Sean, you've seen Rudy, right? Thank you, Sean. My God. I don't think Alex had seen it. And Jerry definitely hadn't seen it. My God, what is wrong with you people? All right, let's see who else. Not Sean, unpopular opinion. Oh, this is not an unpopular opinion. Sean says, unpopular opinion, but mine would be Moneyball. Outstanding movie. Sean, how many times have you seen it? 20 times. Hold on. No, that's fine. I've probably seen it 10 times. But as I was turning to look at Sean in his where he sits, Joe D'Amico's going like this. Now, he's saying no to Moneyball. We'll get his take. I know. We'll get his take on that in a second. Moneyball is an outstanding movie. Brad Pitt is phenomenal. The Billy Bean story in the Oakland A's, outstanding. And then playing the first baseman, whose name I can't remember, is Chris Pratt, right? Kid who hits the home run. Let's see here. Mini Dar. You can't go wrong with Hoosiers. I actually had Hoosiers in there, and then I had a typo, and I went back and forgot to re-put Hoosiers in there. Hoosiers is a movie I feel like I should watch because Coach Normdale, Gene Hackman was the best. So rest in peace, Gene Hackman, who was one of my all-time favorite actors. Reno Paul, Rocky is the best sports movie. Hard to say, hard to argue. Dean Hilt. Oh, my goodness. Dean Hilt with a deep dive. Let It Ride. We were talking about this the other day, me, Chris, and Keith. If you've never seen Let It Ride, it's a horse racing movie. Richard Dreyfuss, Terry Garr. Exceptional movie that not a lot of people know. Let's see here. Courtney the Ringer with Johnny Knoxville. Technically, I guess it is sports, but if you know, you know about that movie. Dean Hilt. Steph averaging over 30 points since the Butler trade. Good stat. Keith. Frank incorporated singing and guitar into a stand-up act. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Reno Paul said, way better than the Manatee song, which I referred to right before I strummed the guitar. All right, a few more. Joey B. Odds that Zelensky is back in the White House. All right, we're getting political here. Vince Las Vegas. Missed opportunity for the Jazz mascot to be Sasquatch. Slow clap. Slow clap for that. That is outstanding. Vince, write an email to them or I'll do it. That is outstanding. Reno Paul, ouch. Jazz Bear, gosh, I was totally saying that wrong. Okay, I know exactly what you were doing. Best movie, Fist, 1978, Sylvester Stallone and Pele. You have that backwards. Fist was about unions. Yeah, Fist was a movie about the unions. Victory is the soccer movie with Pele and also Michael Caine. Michael Caine's in that. So he combined two Sylvester Stallone movies. Fist, not a bad movie. Made it right after Rocky. But it's about union busting. And Victory, great soccer movie. You're absolutely right. Oh, Joey B then corrected it, Victory. And even Natola, Xanadu. Ev Natola, yes, because they are roller skating in it. He says it's a roller skating movie, which is kind of a sport. And by the way, one of the most underrated soundtracks in movie history, 1980s Xanadu, which I saw in the theater, fell in love with Olivia Newton-John all over again at age 11. That soundtrack with all the ELO songs, oh my God, all over the world. Oh, strong. And then is Magic in that? I think, yeah, Magic by Xanadu and Magic. Tremendous movie. If you've never seen Xanadu, watch Rudy, then watch Xanadu. All right. Do I need to throw to a 30, Drew, or we're good? We're good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, it's the return of my man who couldn't make it yesterday, and he's going to let you know why. Please welcome into the show. Oh, wow, he's got his full Yankee gear on. Joe D'Amico is here. What's up, brother? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy. I'm making Muhammad Ali return to the ring, Frank. 2 weeks ago, you weren't feeling good. Last week, I had my dog, Dice, who was just sitting to the left of me. Hang on. I got to show everybody Dice.
Yes.
Hold on.
Please do. I saw you picking up. Oh, there he is. Now, what did he have? I see he's still got the bandage on where they had the IV. Is that right?
Yes, that was the IV bandage. He had a lump taken away, and he had a little infection in his eyes due to the lump.
Okay.
We had the lump tested a few months ago. Well, we talked about that.
Yeah.
It was negative. We sent it back out again anyway, and
okay.
He's doing good, man. He's on more sedatives than somebody at a P. Diddy event. There's a lot I have to talk about.
Please do it, man. That's why we want to. Okay, go for it.
I want to go into best sports movies, Frank.
Okay, yeah. I figured you'd be good for this.
First of all, Let It Ride is just about the single greatest movie of all time, not just a great sports movie.
I think you and I have talked about it. It is a great movie. Continue.
Yes. I think my head is crooked. It keeps my hat. Anyway, Let It Ride is a great movie. You missed one that I feel is one of the single greatest movies of all time, The Sandlot. One of the greatest movies of all time.
Now, listen, I never saw it when it was out. The first time I saw The Sandlot was when I first started this job. I was in the hotel room one night and it came on and everyone was already talking about it because, they couldn't believe I hadn't seen The Sandlot.
You don't like it?
I liked it, but here's the thing. I'm seeing it at the age I am now. Yeah, maybe if I would have saw it younger. Yes, did it harken back to days which kids don't even do anymore, Joe, like we did. We went to a local ballpark and we played all day until the sun went down or the streetlights came on. We could stay and play baseball. I did like it. I didn't love it. I don't know. It was so overhyped. It's a sweet little movie.
And I'm upset at you and your viewers that I love. Don't tell me it's a sweet little movie because I'm going to mess with the Pirates in a minute. Pride of the Yankees, guys. Pride of the Yankees.
Joe, there are so many
movies. Come on. Rocky was great. I got one for you. It was a made-for-TV movie back in the 70s.
I already know what it is. Brian's Song.
I love Brian's Song, but that was a regular movie, not made for TV.
No, Brian's Song was a TV movie.
I do love Brian's Song. It was on my list. Something for Joey.
Mark Singer as John Capoletti.
Johnny Capoletti's brother Joey, who had leukemia.
Yep.
Great. And if you didn't
I got
cry
chills.
in that,
I got chills.
They removed your heart when they removed your tonsils when you were a kid. I got to tell you, those are all great movies.
I have chills right now, dude, because Something for Joey was on. That was a Penn State thing, so it was a big story in Pittsburgh when it came out, right? And Mark Singer, who was the Beastmaster, which was
Beastmaster. By the way, his sister Lori Singer, hot. You can't. I could talk about Lori Singer because my wife isn't here today.
No,
she was hot.
No, Lori Singer from Footloose, they're brother and sister. I don't think I knew this.
Brother and sister. You'll see the resemblance.
Yes, they look alike. Okay, so
Listen.
so Mark Singer and Beastmaster, when we're the same age.
Rip Torn was the bad guy.
And Tanya Roberts, I think, was the hottie in that.
Oh, yes.
Rest in peace. But I remember that was on HBO every day when you came home from school. So there was a comic when I first started watching comedy when I was a kid. And he said, Beastmaster's on HBO so much. HBO stands for, hey, Beastmaster's on, which I thought was like the funniest joke in the world. But back to sports. Yeah, Something for Joey and Brian's song, which, by the way, if you don't cry at the end of Brian's song, that is also a made-for-TV movie. I'm 99% positive.
Lando Calrissian, who was in that movie, was great. I ran into him.
Billy D.
My son was a baby. It was when the Rampart had first opened.
Okay.
And we went to go check it out. My son was still in a stroller, and I went down to check it out. We were going to go eat there, and I ran into him and Billy D. Williams, who was still good looking. And we had the sailor outfit on. He had the white pants, the blue with the gold buttons, double-breasted, the sailor cap. And I said, I want to thank you. I just love it. I love Jin Sharkey's machine. No, he wasn't in Sharkey's. He was in the other one. I said, I love Jin's Lando Calrissian, but my favorite role, he goes, he said, Brian's song.
Yeah.
He says, he said, we had so much fun. Jimmy Kahn was so great. And I knew he still talked to Jimmy Kahn because I knew Jimmy Kahn, and everybody called him that knew him, called him Jimmy.
Right. Great
movie. And I got to say, man, it's just, and I still cry when I watch that movie. And by the way, I got to tell you, if you don't cry in that movie, something's really wrong.
Joe, really is. I'm getting chills just thinking about the ending because I remember the ending is the slow motion running with them. I'm getting chills. And the music, I'm going to say, was by a guy named Michel Legrand, who was a this is weird because my dad always had me find out, he was big on soundtracks. And the last line of the movie is, don't remember Brian Piccolo and how he died, but how he lived. Yeah. And they freeze frame it on him. Look at the hair on my arm sticking up.
I know.
Brian's song,
great
man.
Movie, great, but two strong actors.
Yeah, excellent.
Two strong actors. And it was really a movie, and I'll be honest. I mean, my son and I, when I made, because they remade that movie, and I think like Barry Pepper or somebody, I don't know.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But they remade it, and I'm not a big remake guy. And I said, Joe, before you watch anything, Joey was just like me, big. Well, he's a lot taller than me by about 1.5 feet. But when we were watching the movie, he was a big tough guy too, and even as a teenager, we were both crying our eyes out. And I remember looking to my son and saying, Joe, a real man is never afraid to show his feelings.
Right.
And if anybody don't like that, just bust them in the jaw. So and I said, Joey, no, a real man. And we were crazy. And then Dion walked in and we were both crying. She didn't even see the movie was crying because she knows the premise.
Real quick, your Billy D. Williams story. I was at a car wash in North Hollywood, Studio City. I was getting my car washed, and as I was getting my car washed, I saw a Rolls Royce, big white Rolls Royce, right? And I'm like, okay, this could be someone famous, right? I just moved to LA, and it was Billy D. Williams, right? Yeah. So he's waiting
always
for
always so suave, always suave,
like the ascot,
yes, classy,
pure class, 100%, all class. So I run into the car wash, and like every car wash sells like they have like maybe 10 greeting cards you can buy. I don't know why anyone would do it, but you got time to kill as you're washing your car. So I got a birthday card because my sister's birthday was coming up, and I went out. I said, Mr. Williams, I said, my sister and I, we saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater each like 12 times, 15 times for my sister, I think. Could you sign a birthday card to her? And he put a little message to her, like from Lando, Billy D. Williams, talk to me for a minute. Couldn't have been the nicest guy. Yeah, that was one of my first celebrity encounters in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's great. That's just a great story. And he was the epitome of class and elegance and just charm. He wore it. He wore it. Yeah. He walked it. He was it. And, and he did so many great performances. But as kids, because you and I are about the same age, even though you look a lot older than me, him playing Lando was so cool. Yeah, you got hair, but you got that face. But God even this out. You got that face and I have this. So, no, I'm kidding. I got to tell you, it was just great. Great sports movies, and he was just great.
Now, what about The Natural? The Natural I put number one because I just think it's overall, it's just such a well-written, well-directed. The music, Randy Newman soundtrack, it's the best. You're not a fan.
I like Robert Redford. I think that his best work was because of Paul Newman.
Well, hard to argue with that.
I don't think he was the greatest actor that ever lived. I think that a lot of girls went to the movies because he had the blonde hair and the blue eyes.
Right.
Once he started fading and then just bashed every in every movie he did, he bashed some politician somehow, tongue in cheek. I got a little soured on him. Did a lot of great performances, but you can't ignore that Butch and Sundance and The Sting were probably his
two best movies.
The Natural was a good movie.
Yeah.
But the Fantastical, where he had the Whammer with Joe Don Baker, who
very good.
They could have got a better. I'm sorry, they could have got. He was walking tall. He was huge.
Buford Pusser, right?
Close. How he fell for Glenn Close after being with Kim Basinger just was a little hard to believe. She's got a face look like she was hit with a Ron Guidry fastball. I'm not a big fan. Oh, come on. You look at people.
All right, last but not least, there's Kevin Costner's done a million. He's done Draft Day, Tin Cup, and of course all the baseball movies. Tin Cup's pretty good, but you got to put Field of Dreams up there too. Another movie that is amazing.
It's a good movie.
Yes.
The Fantastic. I'm not a big fan of what is it? Amy Madigan. Amy Madigan.
Yeah, very good.
Another girl. She's got that pruny face. It's hard to look at. It's like looking directly into the sun. All right, he's good looking. Then you're looking at her. Unless he had a bad ego trip before that movie. So give me an ugly co-star. Not a bad movie, but it's the whole Fantastical. Okay. I'm more of a belief. If I'm going to go fantasy, it better be an adult X-rated movie. That's all I'm saying.
All right. A couple things here. This is Reno Paul has a message for you. And Reno Paul, he's a diehard Dodger fan. And he said, let's hope Joe doesn't drop the ball with that outfit. I think he's referring to Aaron Judge dropping the ball in Game 5, fifth inning there. So
listen, buddy, it's okay. It's okay because the Yankees didn't need another World Series. We were building a bigger trophy case. The Dodgers are not even second. The Cardinals are second. World Series. So you guys got one. You guys deserve it and earned it, and that's all. But I'll tell you what, you won't win back-to-back. That's for sure. I'm not saying the Yankees are going to get it. I'm saying they ain't winning back-to-back.
There you go. That's going to be hard.
Reno Paul, we can make a little bet, side bet,
I like
dinner
it.
Vegas. You or me.
Yeah, and by the way, Keith, how did we not mention was Billy D. Williams holding a Colt 45 when we both met him? No is the answer. He was driving a Rolls. Reno Paul, was Wishmaster a sequel to Beastmaster? No. But Howard Stern was last week talking about The Wishmaster, the movie I was in. And then Reno Paul, do we consider Flashdance a sports movie? Well, it was filmed in Pittsburgh, and she's a dancer. That's kind of a sport. So sure, why not? I love that. And then 8 Men Out about the Black Sox scandal. Keith Lyle brings up. The Oscars are this Sunday, so thought we'd have a little fun with movies. Joe.
Speaking of the Oscars, Frank, you mentioned Conan. You gave me the head shake. I know he's in comedy. You don't want to bash another guy in comedy.
I was never a big fan. I'm a Letterman guy. I'm a Carson. I never.
Do you think with the possible opening up of the Epstein flight attendants that they were going to give it to Ricky Gervais this week? Absolutely not.
No, that is true.
Conan's a safer bet.
This is true. This is very true.
It would be funny if Ricky Gervais came in like Howard Stern when he was promoting Fart Man on the MTV Movie Awards. Came in and just said, "Hey, pedophile. It would be funny." God. Listen.
By the way, that Ricky Gervais, his last monologue on the Golden Globes pops up in my feed often, and it's like 10 minutes. I watch it every time. He's genius on that. Joe,
I'm not a big fan of his, but I do like the fact that he came out once and he just bashed. He was on that other no-talent son of a gun, that Bill Maher, who was a second-rate actor and a third-rate comedian before he got that.
Right, I know.
Yeah, he was in DC Cab.
I know he was. DC Cab. And I love that movie, DC Cab.
And he's a horrible stand-up guy. I'd rather get a root canal with no anesthesia than watch him stand up, honestly. But he was on there and he bashed Mother Teresa, called it the most filthy things I've ever seen. And I think it was a horrible way. And Bill Maher was he said, I'll go along with that. You smug son of a gun.
Bill Maher has a Southern accent all of a sudden?
No, smug
accent.
Because I wanted to curse, so I just put it in anyway. But anyway.
Dean Hill says if Joe is a comedian, he would be Don Rickles. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that one right there.
Don was great. I loved Don. He was a buddy. I loved him.
Oh, my God. He was the best.
But I will tell you, Luka and Zion, you know what they have in common?
Well, I know Zion had his first triple-double, and Luka had one, not last night, but 2 nights ago, right? Is that what the common is?
First 2 NBA players to not be allowed in a Las Vegas buffet. Those 2 sons of God, they are just fat. They both are going to balloon up. I'm going to tell you right now, like a Kardashian after a pregnancy.
Luka's working it off, Joe. He's working it. It's his birthday today. How can you take a shot at a guy on his birthday? He's 26.
Listen to me. I'll be honest with you. I think he's a phenomenal athlete. If he is left untethered in L.A., he is going to balloon up like Barkley and when he played for Auburn.
But see, I remember the round mound of rebound. But see, the reason that it works for him in L.A. is because L.A. is so health conscious that in Texas, he's probably eating barbecue every day. L.A., he's going to be eating Niçoise salads and sushi.
And what is Zion doing, man?
Wow. He's in New Orleans, right? Is he in New Orleans, right? He's eating all that gumbo and etouffee and beignets and all that.
Talking about the Pirates, man. Baseball's here. Frank, I got to tell you, Chris Andrews is going to be on the show later. I'm glad. I heard he put out a prop that I'll be playing center for the New York Knicks before the Pirates win the division. That's all I'm saying.
I don't like the Cubs at plus 110. I'm sorry. The Cubs are not the best team in that division. I would take the Reds over the Cubs, but the Pirates have better pitching than any team, so they have a chance. Speaking of Luka, since you brought it up, Drew Doug, let's go to the Luka clip we have in clips. Let's show Joe this clip. So speaking of, because he's making fun of Luka, let's take a look. What's up? What's up? I'm sorry. Yeah. Sure, whatever you got. I don't care. Or whatever we got. There's a couple going. So here's Luka. I think he lost his shoe. So here's Luka. Look at that. He's speaking of, Zion blew out of his shoe famously in the North Carolina Duke game. Remember when Zion blew out that cheap shoe he was wearing? Look at Luka, and they stopped the game for him. See that?
You know what they got to do, Frank? I just want to tell them down the people, the coaching staff, and even the trainers down there. Maybe they should have somebody at each end of the court shaking a bag of cookies to run faster. No, come on. The guy's thick. Listen.
He's thick. He's 26. It's baby fat.
You're talking a guy that could win an MVP arguably every year, and he balloons up. If you can't control yourself at the dinner table, how are you going to control yourself in LA with all the other temptations that are going around?
All right, now speaking of basketball players and eating and having snacks, we have a clip of a mid-game snack that an NBA player took. So go ahead, roll this one. Here we go. Mid-game snack. So he took
I think that's cool.
Still some food. I don't know if that's on his diet, but he did. So there you go. All right, that was a couple clips we had. All right, Joe, we are fastly approaching picks at 12:36. Before we get to it, we'll wait for everybody who might tune in just for that. I'm trying to see what do we got? Is that that's your Moose Johnson? Is that a Ron Guidry? That's Nolan Ryan punching Ryan Ventura.
That's actually I ran into Nolan. And I had a mutual friend, a famous player who's still playing today. I don't want to mention because we have I don't want people to think that current players deal with handicappers and bettors. But he was bragging about me, and Joe is great, and Joe's good. So I says, Nolan, my son. He says, well, can I send you something?
Wow.
I said, I like that. How about the Don't Mess with Texas?
Right.
He says, do you want it? Don't Mess with Texas or the real way I say it?
Okay.
And I kind of knew. And that says, don't mess with effing Texas. He wrote it, too little Joey, right there. Now, I got a lot of stuff. I'm actually going to move Moose down because I've got a few new things I want to put down there. I've got some new stuff from the Super Bowl I want to put out. I got some other things.
Nice.
I might move Moose over. As you know, I've got like Magic Johnson, game worn Michigan State.
Oh, wow.
Will Frazier, game worn Dominique. I got the night Mike Tyson unified the belt, his shorts and his trunks and his robe signed to me. I got Derek Jeter's, not the 3,000 hit jersey, but the 300, one of them that he signed the night he got the 3,000.
Really?
Troy Aikman, Super Bowl, Jordan, championship, Gretzky. I got them all in here.
That's unbelievable.
The Dream Team ball. But I've got to tell you, Moose is one of my favorite players.
Yeah, you always say that. You love Moose.
I just love Moose. I've got some other things that are more high profile and stuff, but I like it. I put up stuff that I like of players that I like.
Yeah, me too.
Don't get me wrong. Listen, we talk about, I play golf regularly with a guy that was an ex-Red Sox, and he came over once. He said, how come my ball ain't in your showcase? I said, you see Ted Williams in there? You're a Red Sox. It don't get put out. It doesn't get put out.
It's all Yankees. All right, Joe. So, by the way, the Pirates just won 3-0 against Tampa Bay. Shutout. See that? Low-scoring games.
Against the pitcher who'll be parking your car at the South Point next week.
Exactly. All right, it's 12:36, Joe. Here we go. Here we go. We got some picks. Chris Andrews will mosey on over. Chris being a huge movie buff, we might have to have him chime in also about sports movies. We've talked about him before, but it's probably been a long time. Anyway, is that Dice barking? Is he okay? It's a good sign that he.
Pie Gal.
Oh, that's Pie Gal.
Pie Gal. Keno's at my feet. Dice is on my left. Pie Gal's behind me.
I love it.
They don't ever miss your show. They love your show.
Love it. All right, buddy. So what do you got for us? What do you want to start with?
First, I'd like to make a small disclaimer about college basketball. We're in the last week of the regular season. The end of college basketball, sports fans, is a lot like the last few weeks of the NFL regular season, if you will indulge me. Certain teams have no shot of anything. Certain teams that like to play spoilers. Certain teams that are looking to better their situation in the conference. And certain teams that are maybe on the big dance bubble. I put stress on all these when I'm handicapping the last week or so of the college basketball season. Things you need to look at for sure. But also, who teams are playing next? And I'm not just talking about the regular season, but possibly in the conference tournaments. Put some stock in all those things. Be careful, guys. You're going to have enough basketball between the NCAA, the NIT, the CBI, the CIT, all coming up within after the conference tournaments, all coming up. You're going to have a lot of college basketball. Don't try to squeeze anything here. Be very selective. It is very important. Okay. But I got a couple of leans tonight, one in college basketball, one in the pro basketball. Then I've got two big plays, big NHL, big NBA. I want to talk about a lean in college basketball, if I may, Frank.
Yes.
I want to talk Nevada currently sits in the 7th spot in the Mountain West Conference, while UNLV sits just above them in the 6th seed. Each team following this game tonight has 2 more games remaining. Coincidentally, both facing New Mexico and San Diego State, who happen to be two of the top 4 teams in the conference. Having said that, the Rebels, they have a chance, be it a slim chance, to qualify in the top 4 if they win out their regular season games. But it all starts with a victory here. Yes, the Wolfpack have won and covered the last 3 meetings in this rivalry, which does include the only matchup this season back on February 1 at home, 71-65. But this team, guys, they struggle when they travel. 3-6 straight up as a visitor this season. Meanwhile, UNLV has done well to Thomas. 10-5 at home this season. They enter this matchup a little hotter, winning 4 of the last 5 straight up, 3 of those 5 against the number. I think this is a very big revenge situation for the Rebels, who did drop that only meeting this season against the Wolfpack, and the last 3, as I mentioned earlier. They can exact a little revenge and possibly better their situation for the upcoming conference tourney. Statistically, these 2 teams match up well, but I do think this game comes down to coaching, prep, momentum, and home court. Giving UNLV points at home is a mistake. I like UNLV here. I do have a lean on very quick on a pro basketball, Frank, if you want me to go right into it.
Yeah, well, I just want to say UNLV, obviously this game's right down the street. I'll be right down the street from that game, and our very own Matt Neverett will be on the call. Reno Paul, who, let's see here. Let's see if he has anything about Reno, because he lives up in Reno. By the way, Reno Paul said, "I'm so down. Let's make the bet." You guys talk about this Dodger-Yankee thing later. But anyway, UNLV, this is a big rivalry game. So you like the 2.5 points, the home dog, right? Correct?
I'll take the 2. By the way, Frank, you look very nice today. You're wearing golf stuff.
I am.
Are you going to the?
Well, Tennessee's going to be one of the teams that I'm going to be rooting for. I like the way I'm rooting for. By the way, St. John's is my team because of Rick Pitino. I hate St. John's when I grew up there in the Big East against the Pitt Panthers, but I love Pitino, so I'm all about St. John's winning it all.
Listen, I'm not going to say anything. I've noticed a trend here on the Punchline show. You like all Italians. You always give Calipari, Pitino, but you're missing another Italian named Louis Carnesecca.
Oh no,
you son of a gun.
I mentioned him yesterday when I talked about St. John's. I remember seeing Louis Carnesecca and shaking his hand at the Fitzgerald Fieldhouse. And by the way, I think I was taller than him, and I was a child then. But he just passed away, and he made it to 99. Jeff and I were talking about him yesterday. Loved Louis Carnesecca. And the sweater when John Thompson came out in the same sweater that one game where to play a little joke on him. Yep. That Big East basketball. I mean, again, it's because it was my youth. Those were the best college basketball game years ever. They were
amazing. Plus, the Big East was so physical, full of talent, and coaches knew, disliked, but respected one another in that conference.
Absolutely,
great stuff.
And the coach, and you could name all the coaches that coached back then. You know what I mean? They were also stars.
They were all larger than life. Those coaches. Yeah. They were their own. They had their own personalities. I always talk about when I think it's funny when Georgetown went up against Villanova in the national title game and Patrick Ewing. I played, I'm sure you're familiar that there's a little park in the lower west side of Manhattan, West 4th Street Park. That's the biggest money games in the world. And during those times, before social media, a lot of college and even pro players would show up there and up in Harlem to play money games. Yeah. And I, in high school, ran with Ed Pickney. I couldn't run with him. I ran with Patrick Ewing. And let's face it, I get on your shoulders and I still don't hit his shoulders. But I ran with them. But I always laugh at I don't know if you guys remember that national title game.
85, yeah, of course.
Georgetown was a favorite.
Huge favorite.
They lost, but Patrick Ewing came out at halftime. He did it. They pre-recorded. He did a "Don't Drink and Drive" commercial, and it questioned because it was like a 60-second spot that took him like an hour and a half to read the cue cards. Right. And I've got to tell you, Frank, it questioned everybody. We always knew there were certain players that got a little push on the tush through the classes, but not until it came to light that Patrick could I love you, Jenny. It was horrible.
Well, by the way, the Villanova, that was one of the biggest upsets ever. But, of course, they were also under the influence of something that might have helped them play a little better back then, which they admitted. I remember
them talking about when they went to the White House. He was looking at the back of the president's head thinking, what would happen if I just smacked him off the head? I remember that.
It was one of the McLean. There were two McLean. I think it was Denny. One of them, not Denny McLean. It was something McLean.
Denny McLean
was a pitcher. Yeah, exactly, for the Detroit Tigers. All right, what do you got next for us, Joe? Let's keep it rolling.
I got a quick. This is really quick than your sex life. This is quick. Nuggets tonight I want to talk about. Guys, a real quick lead in the NBA. Looking at the Nuggets and Pistons matchup, Denver has lost 2 of their last 3 straight up, 3 of the last 4 ATS, and comes off a loss last night on the road at Milwaukee, 121-112. Meanwhile, Detroit, they're rolling. They've won 8 in a row. They covered 8 of the last 9. But the Nuggets have had their way in the series, taking 4 in a row, 9 of the last 10 overall straight up. I really feel the Pistons are in a letdown spot here. I mean, everything you look at, everything you read, everything you see, every stat stacks against the Nuggets in this matchup. And the fact that they're struggling over recent outings and they played last night and lost on the road, and yet I feel this is a trap made by the odds makers to make you side with the favorite here. So I'm looking to prove the odds makers wrong. I think this might be a trap and take the doggy woof. I like the Nuggets outright, but the last I looked, they were plus 2.5. Everything tells me that the Pistons are right side. But let me tell you now, man, some things that look too good to be true actually are. I think it could be too good to be true. If the line went up, I would have probably taken the Nuggets. But right there, I kind of shied away because I do have 2 strong plays. I'm going to give it out on the show, and I put out as premium plays.
All right, and talking about too good to be true, I have a pick today. I'll just tell you real quick. First of all, this is Reno Paul's favorite joke. He says, bet LA tonight in the NBA. He likes to say this 4 times a year because it's the Clippers playing the Lakers, so LA will win. The Lakers, obviously, they played last night, so they're playing a back-to-back, but they're getting 5. The Lakers are 5.5 points. Joe, I mean, I'm like, is LeBron on load management? I don't understand this one. I mean, you give me the Lakers with 5. It just seems too good to be true. Talk me out of it or tell me if it's good.
Frankie, I'm going to tell you, my wife and I, my wife, I don't know if you guys know this, the first lady of Las Vegas. She does she does this, not just for, she lives pretty well, I'll be honest with you. Ain't just because I take care of her. She does pretty well on her own. She looked and says, I really like the Lakers tonight. And I said, I didn't get there. Yeah. Because I was doing some other things, prepping for the show and whatnot. And I looked at it and it looked really good. The only thing that bothered me was I read one little blurb.
Okay.
Luka looked like his hamstring was hampering him. Yeah. And do they sit LeBron on back-to-back games? Now, the last time they had back-to-back games, don't quote me, 19th and 20th, I believe. Don't quote me. But he did play in the second of back-to-back. But I don't know. And if either one of them or they both sit, which you never know today. Yeah. You don't know.
You never know what they're going to do. Exactly.
You used to hear some whispers coming out of camps, and you could bank on them. You don't know. I thought it was too good to be true. I would have probably taken them on the money line at home. Yeah. But getting 5 for sure. But those 2 little items would possibly LeBron sitting and Luka's hamstring. I talked myself out of it. Talk my wife out of it too, which means they'll probably win by 11, and then she'll divorce. Yeah,
I would say keep an eye on that one and see who's in, who's out, a little closer to game time, and see what the line is. Then that would be my opinion. By the way, Sean Higgs says hello. He says Joe looks anorexic. Get that man some pasta. Sean Higgs, who we both know, and he also mentioned Raleigh Massimino. How can we forget? We didn't mention Raleigh Massimino. He was the best too.
He came here later. He coached UNLV for like a half a day, didn't he? For like a half a season.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I think I remember that.
It was him or the other, him or one of them guys. Sean Higgs is a good buddy of mine.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
I love Sean. Guys, I've leaned down. I don't know if you notice it. I've leaned down over the last 3 or 4 months to about 28, 29 pounds. I'm in keeping good shape. 6-degree black belt, 3-time Gold Glove winner, blue chip baseball, all-state football. Yes, and I'm still 5'7". Anyway.
Wait, what are you doing to lose the weight? Are you on is it Mediterranean diet, keto, Ozempic? What are you doing?
Crystal methamphetamine works great. Keeps me up at night. I can do a lot of homework. No,
okay, good.
Honestly, I went higher protein. I watch what I ate. I stopped eating when I'm full.
Yeah.
I don't drink soda. I stood away from the white sugar, white potatoes, white rice, bread, which is tough for me. But if I have a craving for something, I eat it. And I make sure I work out twice a day. I do a quick cardio in the morning, all right, 15, 20 minutes of high impact. And then I go into a senior center every day and I do a workout with them. And it worked. And I lean down.
Yeah, you look good. You look good. All right.
I feel good. But I do hang out with fatter people, so I look skinny.
All right, Joe. So you said you have 2 more plays, correct, or something?
I have one that I lean tonight and a big play. So
give us the big play. Hold on one second. We're gonna bring Chris Andrews in here. We're gonna make sure everything's all set. So we're gonna take a 30-second break. We'll be back with Joe D'Amico and Chris Andrews together at last on Punchlines. We'll be right back. All right, we were talking sports movies. Before we get to Joe's solid play there, we got Chris Andrews, who is a huge movie buff. If you've ever been back to his office, he's got about 10 TVs of sports, but he always has Turner Classic Movies on the left, all black and white movies. I remember one of the first times I went in there, and Mr. Gahn was in there, the Bowery Boys were on, I think, or something. Michael Gahn couldn't believe I knew the Bowery Boys. I'm like, well, my dad brought me up right. Anyway, Chris, we were talking about sports movies earlier, and I know we did this like a year ago. I went with The Natural, I went with Rocky, and I went with Field of Dreams. Now I know you like the old movies. Pride of the Yankees, which Joe mentioned.
It's a great one.
That's a great one. That was Gary Cooper. Another one we didn't mention. Angels in the Outfield, the original pirate one.
With Paul
Douglas, I think.
Paul
Douglas and Janet Leigh.
Janet Leigh.
That movie is with
That's
the Pirates.
a good movie.
It's a great movie. They remade it with the Anaheim Angels or whatever. But
the original one's
right when he would swear. Remember, it was like they would make his voice sound like when he was swearing. All black and white movie. It was one of my dad's.
Well, in Pittsburgh too, and I mean, you see Forbes Field. Yeah, but by the way, a couple of things I want.
Sure.
I didn't hear Slapshot get mentioned.
Slapshot would be top 5.
Kind of sports related. You know the first time I ever cried at a movie? Well, you probably won't. No, it wasn't Brian's song. It wasn't Brian's song. It was The Dirty Dozen.
Oh, yeah.
when they shot Jimmy Brown.
Yeah.
When they shot.
Right. He was still playing, or did he just retire?
That was his first movie after he retired.
Right.
And my dad loved Jimmy, even though he was a Steeler fan.
Right.
But he always just admired Jimmy Brown so much, and then. They shot Jefferson. You got to be kidding me!
Yeah.
And I had tears. I think I was.
Great movie.
Movie came out in '67. I want to say. So I was 11 years old.
Yeah, great movie. But yeah, there's too many sports movies. But Slapshot was an oversight by all of us. And I'm yelling at you two punchies that no one brought that up. Tremendous movie. Sean Higgs just mentioned Brewster's Millions.
All right.
Which Richard Pryor and John Candy.
The remake with Richard Pryor.
Yeah, and
I'm not sure that's
it's a good movie. I've seen it a million times. John Candy is a professional athlete. Is hysterical. And seeing Richard Pryor wind up to throw was not good. Then Sean Higgs mentioned Let It Ride with Richard Dreyfuss. We already covered that one. We covered Let It Ride. Okay,
Chris,
go ahead.
I have to say that the first time I ever cried was during a sports-related movie as well. First time I seen Shaquille O'Neal act.
Yeah, okay. That'll put tears in your eyes.
Kazam.
I'm surprised nobody mentioned Blue Chips out there. I'm just kidding.
That's not a bad movie, though. Nick Nolte, that's a pretty good movie.
Nick Nolte's good.
Yeah, he's good in anything.
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, you also mentioned a knuckleballer. You know, the guy 80 miles an hour. Right?
80 miles an hour.
Did you ever face? I know you played some baseball. Did you ever face a knuckleball?
You know what? There was one kid on my team that we would warm up. You know, when you throw before a game to loosen up, and he would throw knuckleballs, and it was hard to catch. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been in the box against somebody with a knuckleballer.
So my pony league manager.
Okay.
He got up. I don't know. He was in the minors, never made the majors, but he threw a knuckleball. And, you know, so we're playing. He says, hey, you want to face my knuckleball? Hell yeah,
yeah,
sure.
Right, sure.
Come on. So here comes the knuckleball, and I swear to God, I'm standing at the plate, and I'm like, oh, my God, I am going to kill this pitch. I legitimately might have missed it by 4 feet.
Yeah.
I'm swinging at my shoulders, and it hit the plate. And I remember, like, looking, he goes, looks easy, doesn't it? I said, yeah.
Was it Bob Uecker or Joe Giergiola said the best way to...
I think it was Euchre.
The best way to catch a knuckleball, let it roll. When it stops moving, pick it up.
And one of them said it was like eating soup with a fork. You know, so.
Look at Joe. This is the first time the three of us has been together, taking a picture.
By the way, I'm wearing my Nevada shirt. I know we got a big game tonight.
He's got his Nevada. He always wears a shirt of someone playing. It's right down the street from here. Yeah, big game. Yeah. I'll watch the game. He likes UNLV plus the points. Is there action on that game? It'll be busy in here. Yeah, locals coming in.
I think we have a 2. Which I think my numbers came right to 2.
Okay.
I just started working on numbers today. So I'm way behind, and I was telling Jeff Barles, you know, I just really started. So we're going to discuss some numbers today when I'm on his
Glad
show.
You mentioned that. 2 o'clock today, we got Free Throw Frenzy.
Yeah.
Is that the same? Okay, I got it mixed up earlier. Free Throw Frenzy at 2 o'clock, so about an hour from now. Joe, you said you had one strong pick that you wanted to give before we...
I got a strong and I got a lean. Which one do you want?
Let's go strong. Let's go strong.
I want to talk about probably the biggest matchup on the NBA card tonight. The Cleveland Cavaliers, guys, they just don't own the best record in the East at 40-10. They possess the best overall record in the NBA. Just behind them in the conference, since the Boston Celtics. These two teams have met 3 times this season. Boston took the first meeting back in mid-November at home by 3. Cleveland took the second beginning of December at home by 4. And the most recent meeting just 24 days ago on the road, Boston prevailed 112-105. Since that defeat, guys, the Cavaliers have rattled off 8. If you're dyslexic, I'll go like this. 8 consecutive victories covering their last 6 contests. They come in here with an extra day to rest and heal and prepare. Face an opponent, which happens to be, let's face it, they are a powerhouse, Boston. But you would think with a team this good and this strong, they'd have better than an 18-10 record at home this season. They do come off a road loss, an embarrassing road loss 2 days ago at the hands of Detroit, but I don't see them in a bounce-back mode here, guys. I look at this game as more of not just a revenge factor, but the Cavs coming in here and proving they can beat the Celtics at the TD Garden to gain back a little psychological edge for a definite postseason showdown. Please don't forget, Cleveland's also the best road team in the NBA, 21-6 straight up as a visiting season. I feel giving them points is a mistake. I like them outright, but I'll take the points with the Cavs. By the way, guys, Boston also has Denver up next. Might be saving some gas in the tank for that. You know, it's a situation I don't want to give. Cleveland lost that last meeting. They got beaten. They got beaten.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like they stole something. I think they might come back because this is a big matchup. You know,
it's huge.
We're not long away from the postseason, and certain teams that know they're going to be facing other teams, they don't want to go into the postseason with, you know, an inferior situation where the other team has got a psychological edge. I think Cleveland have to come back
I like
tonight.
it. I like it.
Money showed on the Cavs tonight.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. And then let me ask you this. When March Madness rolls around, does the NBA action just drop off?
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like no one's even watching. No one's betting. It's all college.
You know, listen, I'm not an NBA fan, although I watch the NBA during the playoffs.
Sure.
But, you know, I mean,
the regular season is
a
long.
Tuesday night game. You know, I'm just not that interested.
I hear you. College, by the way, we got to point out again here at the South Point, you got to come down for the opening of March Madness upstairs. There'll be 3,000 people, many screens, kiosks, food deals aplenty, and that is right around the corner. I'm also seeing this just in Fresno State. They're investigating allegations that men's players, the little issue going on there with Fresno State. And some point shaving, possibly.
I hate the point finger, but you know, when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah,
you know,
right. And more times
like this has been going on for a while. But I think it's been going on, but now there's a more like public face to it. Now that we have, gambling pretty much throughout the entire
everywhere.
country,
Yeah. All right. Chris, you're coming. It's just you and Jeff, or is
I think Vinny's supposed to be in.
Vinny's joining? Okay.
I know
Vinny's
he's got
joining.
some things he's dealing with, but
okay.
I expect him to be in.
All right. So the three of you. Joe, what are you up to the rest of the day? You're taking care of Dice. Dice is coming through like a champ.
He's right down here next to me. I'll give you a little quick
there we
theory.
go. Look at him
sleeping. My little guy is sleeping. He's resting up. He's on, like I said, he's knocked out like he was drinking the punch at the P. Diddy party, but he's doing great. I got a 3.5 pound grass-fed Wagyu beef tomahawk that's going to go on the grill today.
Oh.
I'm excited about that. Hey, Chris, you're always invited. You know that. I invite Frank all the time. He never shows up, but you're always invited.
Okay.
You come down anytime. I also have a kegerator, keeps my beer 32 degrees in the backyard. You're welcome to come by anytime you want. I don't lock my doors. I'm Sicilian. I don't have to lock my doors. So you come on in. You just come on in. You got my address. But got some great stuff going on the next few weeks. I do want to say something out there. A couple weeks ago, my wife and I came into the South Point. We're in there every week socially. Michael's. Guys, I'm going to tell you, I've been going to Michael's since before they moved to the South Point. 35 years ago, it was one of the only 4-star restaurants in town. It's still old Vegas. Yeah. The best service. The food was amazing. Funny thing is, 2 friends of mine walked in and recognized me right away. Crack. Everybody knows Bill Crackenberg, a good buddy of mine. He walked in. He said, "Hey, how you doing?" And they kept walking, took 2 steps. He says, "Joe?" Because he said, "Wow, you lost a lot of weight." And it was nice. Mark Davis came in. So I just want you to know, and they treat everybody the same in there, and the food impeccable. Yeah. The service impeccable. I just want to say thank you to everybody at the South Point, but I'll be in there again. A couple of my friends are going to be playing the showroom in March.
Yeah, a lot of shows coming.
You talked about some shows. I got 1 million shows coming up.
I know.
I hate this talk comedians with Frank because he gets a little quirky, but Frank is one of my favorite comedians ever, and I've seen everybody, guys. I've seen Rodney, I've seen Don, I've seen them all. I even seen Richard once. Wow. Yes, we weren't at a showroom. We were in and I'll tell you a long story another time. Right. Michael Blaustein, Matt Rife coming in, Louis C.K. Maybe enough time has passed that we could go see him and support him.
Yes.
I got Uncle Cracker this week, Tom Jones coming up, Paul Anka, the Go-Go's, Jelly Roll, Post Malone.
Jesus.
Some other great ones coming in. We're going to see the Eagles. I had tickets last week, I believe, but couldn't go because Dice was sick and there's no,
I'm going to be there next Saturday. I'll be there next Saturday with my buddy Bill Neofus coming in town. Are you going Saturday?
At the Eagles, I don't know. It's all on up in the air because I got to make sure Dice is okay.
All right.
I can't leave him.
Joe, hold on one second. We got Kenny White's Dog of the Day I want to get in before we wrap up the show. Kenny White, go to Kenny White Sports. He is University of Louisiana Lafayette, plus 12.5 at South Alabama. That's your Kenny White Dog of the Day. And here's our Dog of the Day. Of course, Dice, we're so happy that he's healthy, but we have our Dog of the Day that we like to end with. Here we go. What the hell are we looking at here? I walked in on my dog sleeping with his 2 toys. Which one is the real dog? It's like a 3-card Monty. It's the one in the middle. That is adorable. Chris is coming up at 2:00 with Jeff. We got Free Throw Frenzy. I'll be back Monday with Alex White and Greg Vaughn. Greg Vaughn, Major Leaguer. Greg Vaughn's we've been tentatively having Greg Vaughn. So Greg Vaughn will be here next Friday. Esther Steinberg, very funny comedian. So make sure you come back to watch Punchlines. Watch Chris in 1 hour. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe D'Amico, thanks for doing the show. We'll get to our favorite shows that we've ever seen in Vegas next time you're on the show next Thursday. All right. Thank you, Chris, for stopping by. Everybody, thanks for watching. Vince and Jerry and Drew Dog directing and Sean. I'm Frank Nicotero. Punchlines. Line stands for Live in Nevada every show.